Okay, welcome everyone to Self-Care for Healers online masterclass series. It's my privilege to introduce Deborah Knight. Deborah helps women who appear strong and confident on the outside, yet feel invisible or broken somewhere deep inside. You're tired of being on the gerbil wheel of life and know there is something more. She'll help you establish a strong foundation so that you can begin to use the universal laws of gratitude and attraction to create that life you dream about as you fall asleep at night. Deborah has a 6-month manifestation mindset coaching program where she guides you through the exact strategies that have helped hundreds of women create and attract more love, more joy, more peace within their hearts, and so much more free time to actually enjoy it all. So,
yes,
Deborah, welcome. Love the energy.
How are you?
Fine, thanks. So tell me more about the gerbil wheel of life and how you can help people jump off.
Yes, I got tired of it. So I was just working. It's just like, it seems like everybody here in the world is just working, not enjoying life, right? And it's like, as we evolve, we learn all these energetic techniques, but then we're still working, you know, trying to put them to use, trying to get more clients, trying to help more people. And so it was just like, pardon me, I got tired of being on the gerbil wheel. And the more I learned about manifestation and law of attraction, it was just like, it made sense. So I literally started practicing. I've been doing this stuff for like 10 years. So I started practicing just little things this way. And I think I was telling you that just this week, I got 2 new clients and I didn't do anything. I literally set the intention at the beginning of the week of, I want to manifest more money to come into my bank account from many different sources with ease and grace so that I can just enjoy life much more, more fully. And that's all I did. And I just, went into that feeling, felt it here, like it's already here. And I didn't do anything. I did not do anything. I think I did 2 posts and they weren't even about clients. One was one was a woman I knew 4 years ago and out of the blue. And that's the way the universe works. It's just things happen out of the blue. Another one came through a friend of mine who said, Deb, this girl, you should talk to her. And I talked to her and she hired me right away. So it's just like, when we relax into who we're supposed to be and help with gratitude that it's already here. And I'm telling you, I haven't done anything. I've been visiting with people all week. It's been amazing. Yeah, even went to the beach.
Wow, that's great.
It was cold.
So maybe we should talk a little bit about manifestation then, because I think a lot of people have maybe the wrong process or the wrong mindset, or it depends on who you talk to. Some experts say we think too much about what we don't want. And I get that. I totally get it. Maybe we've all seen The Secret and we all know those steps. Maybe that's not the whole story.
No.
So, well, while I have you here, let's pick your brain. So
sure.
What would you say, what's your process? I mean, you're saying you're doing nothing, but you're doing something because 2 clients just showed up. So
yeah. So the one thing that Secret leaves out is that, and I think they should have really concentrated more on that, is that it's not your thoughts become things. Your thoughts create an emotion. Your emotion is energy in motion. That energy raises your inner vibration. So it's like the universe, and it's so funny, I hear so many people say you have to raise your frequency. You can't do that. You can raise your inner vibration. You raise your vibration. The frequencies are set. So just so people understand, this is a really easy way. Like if you're going to like radio stations, they have their own frequency. Every radio station has a distinct frequency. So if you want to listen to rock and roll, you are not going to turn to the station that plays country. You're going to get the wrong thing. And so what we're doing as human beings is like, so all those emotions, and I can definitely send this to everyone who's watching, or, the vibrational scale of emotion. So love, joy, gratitude, those are high, they live in a higher frequency.
Mhm.
Down here, the lower frequencies are shame, guilt, jealousy, and it goes up to anger, right? So if you want to tap into, it's like whatever you're vibrating at is where your hand, your energy is going to go out and pull into shame, guilt, and it had that frequency matches your inner vibration.
So you're talking about David Hawkins'
Yes.
consciousness scale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I couldn't remember the name.
Yeah.
It's like I use it all the time, and I always, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, it's an amazing book. Power versus Force.
The power versus force.
Tough to put it down. It's such an easy read, and
Yeah.
complicated things made very simple and
Right.
very relevant to our talk today. Definitely.
Right. So that's really the secret, is if you want to experience more love, more joy, then you need to feel that in your body energetically, because when you're energetically in alignment with that, it's like the energy goes out, and it's the universe will give you, and it may not give you exactly what you want, but it will give you experiences, people, places, the things that give you that same emotion. So it's like, you know, a lot of people will say, well, I want, you know, financial security, I want that. But what they really want, and I dig down to find out what it is they really want, is maybe they want more love. They want to feel safe. So when you raise your vibration, you're going to get something, may get something else that gives you that sense of safety or more love. Yeah.
So it seems that we put up our own blocks. We self-sabotage. How would you overcome blocks and self-sabotage? Let's make it specific, because we're talking about manifestation, but then we kind of segued into money a little bit. So let's talk about money.
Let's talk about money. How did I do this week, right? Well, money is, so first of all, it's getting to that understanding that money is just a piece of paper. It's literally when you can really look at money and take the value out of it and put all this importance on this piece of paper. It's like once you begin to look at it as just a piece of paper, you know, all right, this is really funny. This is how I got over all this stuff, is I literally, I could have been arrested. I literally took $100 bill and I printed it. I printed a bunch of them, and I literally had them around my place. So everywhere I looked, there was money. Because I did have money issues. You know, I grew up, you know, within that lack mentality. You know, my mom, you know, her mom grew up in, you know, the Depression. So it's like that was handed down, and sometimes that is ancestral. So it's literally, okay, this was in my energy field. So those are the things, little things. I had fun with it. So yeah. So if you're lacking money, I know. Be careful. Yeah. Be careful, just print your own. and then as I started to make more money. So, and the other thing is that I did is that this is one thing I did is I needed a job. I was a single mom with little kids, and I needed a full-time job. And, you know, I wasn't making a lot of money. I had that lack mentality. And I started all these things. I was doing all this reading. I mean, I'm a reader. I should have my own library. And I really wasn't putting this stuff into practice in my daily life. And I made the decision, I'm going to start practicing this because I need to take care of my kids. I need something better. And I started picturing myself as making a certain amount of money. I even made a check for myself, you know, made out to myself, Deborah, and this amount of money. I'd never made that in a year before. And this is what I mean, the universe will give you things. So all of a sudden I get an email, and I'm like going, I don't even think it was an email. It was, I was looking for a job, and whether it, back then it was Monster was the thing. We're talking a while ago, right? And it came up. So this job came up, and it was for a general manager of a restaurant. Actually, it was a corporate cafeteria. And I'd never, ever, ever done anything like that. And I said, I'm going to go. So I, you know, just went. I went. When I left the house, I pictured that I already had the job, that I was already making that money. And I just let it go. I just said, this is what they say to do. I'm going to do it. I walked in there, and the woman sat there, and she said, you know, I usually don't hire people right away, but I'm going to hire you. I'm going to make you an offer. This is the offer. And I went, holy shit. It was more than when I wrote the check for. It was more. And I worked there for 3 years, but I had never done that.
Wow.
I was a server, I was a front end, I worked, catering, management catering, but I had never run a restaurant, never mind a corporate cafeteria. And I ended up, this is really it's so funny. Stuff just keeps coming to you. As I ended up at the Monster Building in there. Oh, that's so funny. At their corporate cafeteria out in Maynard. So I did end up there. So yeah, the universe will give you things, and just play with it. The more you play, the more you have fun. And it's really hard when you come from a lack mentality. So that's why I started doing these little things. I had sticky notes all over the place of, money comes to you easily, money comes to you from different places, all over the place, until I was retraining my subconscious mind. I did paraliminals, I did self-hypnosis. Just at night, I'd put something on, and that's how I got rid of it. But it was, the most important thing was taking the action.
Mm-hmm.
The
so
action.
It sounds like you're setting an intention and you're letting it go, but you're doing an action. But part of that action, the word that keeps coming up, that keep hearing, fun.
Yeah.
So is it the fun that kind of makes it work for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
So it takes me out of the stress, so we talked about this, that most people, when they're trying to manifest something, they focus, the biggest mistake people do, and I can say this 100 times, is that they focus on what they don't want. Because it stresses them out. So they keep, and that's just human nature. You keep going there, you keep going there. Another thing I did was when I started doing all this work was when a bill came in, instead of stressing out, I would jump up and down and say, woohoo, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky that I have this phone bill. I'm so lucky that I have this cable bill, because it means I have a TV. It means I have a TV. It means I have someplace warm. So there is a gratitude that follows that. And gratitude, right, is a higher vibration.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You gotta have fun.
So what are some easy ways to tap into, well, yeah, I guess you just mentioned gratitude. What about love? What about self-love? Kind of getting into appreciation, self-appreciation.
Yeah. So, and that's something you'll all get, is the 6 steps to radical self-love, to give you the foundation to manifest. I did not, just so you know, I could not have done this 20 years ago. I was not confident. It was a relationship that broke me, and he cheated on me, he lied, he cheated on me with a friend, and it broke me. But I want you to understand this. I attracted that because of how I felt about myself inside. I did not like who I was on the inside. Outside, yeah, I was always the happy-go-lucky girl, always got what, I always got the jobs, or the guy or whatever, but there was something broken inside of me. And when that happened, it was like the rug was pulled out from under me, and my entire life was just like, oh my God, what is wrong with me? Because it's not the first time it happened. So I really had to look at myself. And that's when I realized that he didn't break my heart, he broke it wide open. He literally broke it wide open. And when he did that, it allowed the light to come in, and I could see the different parts of myself. There's this beautiful saying, wabi sabi love. And I think it was Debbie Ford who actually wrote the book on it. And, it's a Chinese vase. And when that vase, gorgeous, right? Art, just so much beauty, and what's the word I'm looking for? Ornate. And when it broke, they would pick it up and they would glue it back together with gold. So the veins, and it would have these gold veins in it. So they would put it on the shelf and the gold would shimmer. And that was wabi sabi, like taking this thing that people think is done and broken, and really just letting the light in. And then you're just like, when we look inside ourselves, oh my God, we're so amazing. We're so amazing and beautiful. Yeah. So that's how I started. Was all these little things. Granted, I read a lot, so I just took everything from everyone and put it into a program. But one of the very first things I did was to say no. I don't know if anybody out there says yes to everybody. If somebody asks you something, you say yes, begin to say no to everything until you feel, so whenever, and I was a people pleaser, right? And I thought I only said yes to people because it made me feel good. And then I was nice. I was nice. I wanted to help everybody. But in the end, when I really looked, I was saying no to myself so many times. And then I would, resentment might sneak in. And here I am. Well, I'm just doing this, not because of any other reason. I don't need to please them. I'm just nice. And that was so far from the truth. I was doing it because I needed them to like me. And when I started to say no to everything, and I didn't say no, like, no, I'm not helping you. It was more like, you know what, let me get back to you on that. Let me make sure I have room in my schedule. And then I would go back home. And if it felt good inside and it really made me happy, I would say yes. And if it didn't, if it conflicted with something I really wanted to do, I would say no. So always everything was done with compassion and love. But that was the first thing I ever did. And that helped me really find out who I was and what I like to do.
Sounds like a tough lesson, because it's easy to say yes so that you avoid conflict or letting the other one down, or maybe you're worried about what the other person thinks. So yes is so easy in some scenarios, and then being able to say no is quite a lesson.
Yeah. And it was, and it's like I never came right out and said no. When I say that, it was always, let me get back to you. Let me go check. Or if I knew I didn't want to do it, or couldn't, there was something in my schedule I wanted to do, I would say, God, you know what? I'd really love to help you, but I can't that day. Maybe ask me again, So it was always, again, done with compassion for myself and the other person. And that's really important. The other thing I could tell you so many things I used to do. But it was all fun. But, I used to have to look in the mirror, and I'm going to look at the camera and say, I love you. And I could not do that when I started this. It made me cry. So, and that's when I knew, I was like, oh my God, if I can't look in my own eyes and say that, there's something I need to keep working on. So I started with, I'm in the process of really liking who you are. Again, fun. It was fun. There was no bad energy that came up. It was just like, hey, I'm in the process of. And then now I can just look in the mirror. I love who I am, and not in an arrogant way, in a very humble way, because I think the more I love me, the more you can love you.
True. Yeah. So is there a process that you teach your clients in that? Is there something that is, you have a 6-month program? Is that part of the 6-month program, kind of teaching?
Yeah, it's pillars. So I have 6 pillars that we move through, and self-love is one of the biggest ones, because once they get that, and that's throughout the whole thing, because we're always working on that. But once they understand that as the foundation to manifesting, that once you have that self-love, all this other stuff from the past, it may come up, but you love yourself so much that it's like, no, you almost, all right, talk about fun. My stuff from the past or limiting beliefs would come up, and I'd put it as a gremlin, right? We learned that in coaching. And so as a gremlin, and I'd look at it and I started just whacking the thing, I don't need you anymore. And I literally would have conversations. Like, people might think I'm a little crazy sometimes when I'm in my car, but it helps me to be happy. It helps me to laugh at myself, to laugh at life, and to manifest. Yeah. And then when you manifest stuff, you get even happier. Yeah.
Which makes you manifest more happiness. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah. And life happens. It's like, sometimes life, or, you may lose somebody, you may lose a relationship. When that's, financial loss, whenever that happens, it's like, it doesn't negate all the work you've done. It does not. So like, as you're doing this work, all those little pieces that you're doing is reprogramming your subconscious mind. So I like to give the example of, like, when your subconscious mind is like, there's toboggans. So it's like your automatic response is like a toboggan path in your mind. And so you're going about daily life, right? And your automatic response, your brain just goes there. It's a deep toboggan that you've been building since you were a little kid. And when you reprogram it, you have to build another one that's deeper than the automatic one. So this is the way, this is just a really good analogy to look at. So it's like, you're doing all this work, and every day that new toboggan, that new pathway is getting deeper and deeper. And then all of a sudden you wake up one day and that is your new normal. Like the old one is gone because the new one that you've developed, and of course there are all these tricks we have now. Tapping is, one of them, EFT or NLP, all the energy healing all works towards that. But I didn't know any of that stuff when I started. I didn't know any of it. So I just did that every day. I just would do these silly little things. And then one day I woke up and said, oh, how did I used to behave that? I couldn't remember. Yeah. So it's a fun world.
It is.
Yeah.
So why do you think self-love is such a hard lesson? Because I think pretty much everyone needs it.
Yeah.
Why? What makes it so difficult, do you think?
Because when we're these little kids, right, our soul comes into this world. We're, when you look at a little kid, they're just so full of joy and love. There's no fear. Like we have to stop them because there's no fear. A soul comes in and they're just like love. It's just love and adventure. Like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's just like, where am I? What can I do? What can I play with? And that's the little child. And then we have adults, who everything, most people, it's like the adults in society, they're trying to protect that child. So, but it's like, so we have to look at in our life, who said no. So for an example, for me, I was this fun-loving little girl, and we all have these gifts, and I was in a family that didn't know how to appreciate the gift that I could see people. I would talk to them without talking to them. I would touch their soul and I could feel them, I could see them. And my mom took me to a psychiatrist at 4 years old to try to help me. And she was trying to help me. That's what I mean. She was trying to help me so that I could express myself and people would understand me. But in doing so, I was told I was wrong. So I was scared. I was scared because I go, wait a minute, this is me. This is who I am. And now you're telling me I can't be me, that people don't get me, that it's scary. And it scares us. So, and it could be a millisecond. So then we go into hiding, our soul goes into hiding, and then we have to work our way out of it.
So it sounds like programming as a child, and it's learned, and now we have to unlearn it.
Yeah. Look at our society. And this goes back thousands of years, right? That lack mentality. If we were all just, the powers that be, well, we can't let them know how powerful they are, because they had that lack mentality. Again, it wasn't anything that they did wrong. The people around us, it's not that they're trying to protect us. But back then it was just that lack mentality. And even now there's a lot of that. Yeah. It's enough for everyone.
Yes. So how can do you have a technique that you'd like to share with us?
Yes, the future you.
Okay, awesome.
This is one I really, really love, because it gets you into the energy of who you really know yourself to be. And it's like, and I actually do use some NLP because we will ground it into our system. And this is just a little visualization. So we're going to walk you through a little visualization. You're going to close your eyes. And I want you to think about something right now that you want to manifest into your life. Or for me, it's more about feeling. So get into a feeling of how you want to feel. And, as you're all healers, I'm guessing that you all want to be more abundant, and you want to, and when I say abundant, you want to absolutely make more money, but you also want to help more people. And when you help more people, it really fills you up with this fulfilling, this just, oh, you're just so full here in your heart. So think about that feeling. And we're just going to close our eyes, take a deep breath in. And when you take a deep breath in, I'm going to go to the count of 4. In, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. So this is just going to help relax your nervous system. So in for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Out through your mouth like you're blowing out a straw for 4. Hold for 4. Let's do that again. In for 4 through the nose. Hold for 4. Out through the straw. Hold for 4. And now I want you to just take a deep breath into your heart, into that heart space, and really think about how you want to feel. I know many of you want to expand your practices. Many of you are, with COVID are a little worried because you can't be in person. So think about how you want to feel on the other side of this. You have a full practice. Maybe you have an online course and you're helping so many people. Breathe into that, into your heart. This is where we're really going to use your imagination and your childlike play. You're going to let go of all the adulting and all the shoulds, all the have tos. Go back to that childlike state and just get into your imagination and imagine what the world would be like when you have a full practice, when maybe you want to travel the world healing people. Maybe you want to open a school. Get to that place as if it's already done. So you're on the other side of that. Breathe into that. I want you to feel what it feels like. Look around you. What do you see? Who's around you? You want to open a school. What does the school look like? What does the front door look like? Pretend you're walking in, touching that knob and turning it, opening the door, going into your office, and just feeling so proud, not only of yourself, but of your staff. Feeling in complete alignment with why you're here and what you're here to offer the world. Take a deep breath into that. I want you to smile, get a smile on your face. That does help. And now I want you to have a conversation with somebody you really love. And again, you're going to be after the fact. You've already manifested what you want. And imagine that person in front of you. And then saying to yourself, to you, I knew you could do it. I knew you could do it. Look at what you've created. I'm so proud of you. Feel into that. Feel into that. Take a deep breath in. Again, feeling as if it's already here. Feeling as if the people around you are celebrating you and all that you have created and all the lives that you're touching. Smile. Bring that smile on your face and let that feeling wash over you. Now take your forefinger and your thumb and ground it together. Hold them together and hold that feeling, that inner vibration, that joy, that love. This is the feeling you need to get into every morning. Imagining again that childlike play. Your brain does not know the difference between what's real and what's not. When you program these feelings into your heart, into your brain, into your body, your brain is going to work like a computer and do whatever it can to make that happen, to prove that to be true. Take a deep breath in. And come on back a little bit. Stay with that feeling. Stay with that feeling. As if, I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. Look what you've done. Look what you've done. Come on back. And you are going to allow the universe to now work for you. The universe will give you breadcrumbs. It's up to us to take action on them. I love that feeling. I love that feeling. It's like you immediately, I don't know, Peter, how did that feel for you?
Yeah, so you have a very calming voice and the right steps and the visual with the verbal command, feel it, but also do it. So I'm like, I was picturing opening the door, like you said, and then I hear that I'm so proud of you. And it was like, wow, this was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the imagination. So that's the trick. That's the trick to me. Like, I'm like buzzing right now. I'm like, ah, I'm going to get 2 more clients tomorrow. I'm so grateful. So that's just how it works, is just stay and keep smiling, because I know we walked into your school. Right. And that the real powerful piece, which I learned probably 2 years ago, was to imagine someone I love telling me how proud they are of me, telling me that that they knew that I could do it. That piece right there was like, oh, that's powerful. Yeah. So I incorporated that in.
That is pretty powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. So tomorrow morning, everyone's going to do that, and just keep playing with it. You just got to keep playing it and take what works for you. Obviously take what works for you and leave the rest.
So is that how you start your day? Would you set the intention for the whole day using that technique?
I set intentions for like an umbrella intention in the beginning with my clients. We'll set an umbrella intention of how we want our life to look like, everything in it. And then we break it down to do, so that they can get experience and success in the little things. So for instance, I want to say, finding a parking space. A lot of law of attraction people will say to use that, but people aren't doing it right. So literally what I used to do was I would get in my car and I say, here I come. Woohoo! Thank you so much for letting me park out front. I love it. I'm so grateful. Thank you. And then that was it. And that's I think the important piece is to let go of any. So it's like you have to have like the details, but the details just give it juice and passion. But you have to let go of the outcome, because the universe is going to give you something better. And we don't know what that is. So if we keep focused on that outcome, no, this is what I want. I want this school in this town, in this place, and looks like this. And yet the universe wants to give you a school on the top of a mountain, that looks like this, and one over here, and you're stuck in this little box. So that's another thing that a lot of us do, is we get stuck in that detail. We have to let go. It's like, yeah. And it's so confusing, right? It's like, yes, have detail, but let go. Yes, have detail to give it juice, but let go. It's all about the feeling. Keep getting into how you want to feel. Because
you can potentially block yourself if you're giving it too much detail or trying to think about why. Because why?
Forget the cursed house.
Yep. Why gets in the way?
The house and the whys get in the way. Well, it's important to know the why, because why do we want to do this stuff? Because for me, it fills me up. There's no better feeling in the world than seeing somebody have a light bulb go off. And I'm like, oh, yes, because I know their life is going to be better. So that's my big why. And of course, to help humanity. It's like,
when I mean why, not so much why, but how it's going to happen.
How the house.
How is the better question? Yeah. The
cursed house. Mike Dooley from The Secret calls him the cursed house. He's been a mentor of mine for years. He's incredible. And that's his big saying, the cursed house. Forget about the cursed house.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter, because if you knew how, you'd already be doing it.
True.
Right.
True.
Right. And you know, the quantum, right? The quantum field, it's like, if it's in your, if it's a desire inside your body, it's already in your field. It's already there. So allow the quantum to just let it, you know, a quantum leap, let it fall into your lap. You know, and it's, again, like you said, getting out of the way, and just staying in that feeling of how it's going to feel when it's here. And gratitude is huge. I could talk about this stuff all day long. I love it. It excites the heck out of me. And I love teaching people about it. And I love teaching people how to have fun with it, because it doesn't have to be so hard.
Yeah, I think that's your secret, making it fun.
Yeah.
You also use the word play.
Yeah. Oh, you're good. Yeah. It is fun. It is. It's a magical universe. I think everybody on here knows that. It's just that we get stuck in the muck. You know, we really get stuck in the muck. And then when you get, okay, so here's one thing that I'm going to tell everybody, that when you start spiraling down into the negativity, you know, you'll be doing fine. And then something happens. Maybe you'll see, you know, a big thing, right, is social media. You'll get something on social media, or, you know, somebody will react not the way that you want them to. And it's like, you have 100 people who love you and one person who doesn't. And it just like sucks us all in, right? And so I'm going to say, don't do that. Just stop that right now. But concentrate on the 100 people that love you. But when you start going down that spiral, and you start going into that, all the negative stuff about yourself, the thoughts, beliefs, all start coming up, and you start going back into the past. Because when you go back into the past, you're actually bringing it right into the now and into the future. So you want to try to stop that. But when you're doing that, I mean, it's so hard, right? To stop the spiral, just stop and start counting something. Literally, window panes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Your brain cannot think about that negativity and count at the same time. So it's the easiest way. Like if I'm in the car and something comes up, and you know, I'll have a negative thought, and I'm like, oh, don't go there, Deborah, don't go there, Deborah. I'll start counting telephone poles or red cars. And then you'll notice that's another way to practice. If you start thinking about red cars, you're going to see more red cars. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a quick way, counting anything. Yeah. And then of course you're going to be aware, and then you're going to pick a different thought that gives you a different emotion. Yeah.
So Joe Dispenza talks about how if we're over the age of 35 and the average person has about 60,000 thoughts that run through their brains per day, and a lot of them are probably negative because they're housed in the subconscious, and that's where we seem to go.
Yep.
So we're reliving our negativity. You could argue that it's probably really hard to control that first thought. You can't really control all 60,000 thoughts, right? That first one that pops in your head that triggers you, that's going to happen, whether or not you're a novice healer, an expert healer, intermediate healer.
Yeah.
But I would argue that you have absolute control over the response.
Absolutely. Yeah, because when the thought comes in, right, then you have the awareness. So a thought comes into your head, into your mind, but it's your heart that has the emotion. So you have a thought, like you can have a, like I think of my ex-boyfriend, there's no emotion that comes up. There's none, you know, except love and compassion and gratitude. So it's just like, once you can control and be aware of, oh, this thought is causing this emotion is coming up because of my past, something in my past. I don't want to bring, I mean, it all happens in a split second. I don't want to bring that past into my now and into the future, because I don't want to do that again. I'm going to choose a different reaction. I'm going to choose something else. And like I said, the counting really helped me stop that. Yeah.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
So if we can have our cake and eat it too,
yeah,
which I think we can, why not make it fun?
Yeah. We're here to have fun.
Mhm.
You know, it's just like, that's why we're here. Yes, to learn a lesson, but that lesson or whatever it is to help humanity. Yeah. And that should be fun.
And where I see that lesson every day is
Yeah.
every time the best part of the day is when I'm walking down the stairs first thing in the morning and my dog will have something in his mouth and he'll have that look, you know what I'm talking about if you have dogs.
Yes.
And he just wants to play. And
Yeah.
it's every single day. I'm like, wow, if I come back, I want to be a dog.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you could throw that. Like I sit at my desk sometimes and I just throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball. And every time he's like, yay. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, we're getting to a better place. You know, we are rising up into the higher consciousness where, you know, all that stuff, all that muck is going to be going away a lot quicker from people like all of you, you know, doing the work. We're raising the vibration of the planet, one person, one group at a time. And that's it's gonna be like that toboggan. One day it's just gonna be, wow. Yeah, right?
Yes.
I see.
And I think it's getting here quicker and quicker.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, because people like you getting all these people together, seriously, all these people, all of you together in this summit, we are collectively, you know, it's like our vibration is raising up. We're helping people. So it's like the planet does at the same time. Oh, it's so exciting. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you. Thank you for being a part of our journey. So how can the audience reach out to you after this session? What's the best way to contact you?
Yeah, so it's Deborah at coachdeborahknight.com. That's the best email for me. You can reach out on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I think you're going to put the links there.
Yes.
Send me a message. You will all get the self-love, the 6 steps to radical self-love to start practicing for yourself. And yeah, if you have any questions, anybody has any questions, reach out. I'm happy to answer them. And I have, you know, I have my mindfulness for mindset for manifestation, which I love. Yeah, I love. I think the more of us that raise up, the more we practice this stuff and have fun with it, the more it vibrates out to others. And then, you know, my family's so much more at peace because I'm happy, you know. Yeah. So yeah, reach out. Sorry, I got distracted. Send me a message. We'll put the links down below. We'll make sure you all get that. Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate every single one of you.
Thank you. And I'd also like to thank the audience for being part of this journey as well. And until next time, be well.